Well, this is going to be the first part of the airbag install process. I will be using the tire well, so that means it's time for me to pull everything out of the trunk. And I'm very excited about that. Yay. Considering I'm going to be putting everything back in right after that and then pulling it back out when I redo the trunk, when I get new amps. But yeah, enough about that. Let's get started. Alright, now everything is out. I have all my valves and stuff in. Just kind of threw them in there just to see how they looked. I'm going to build a floor for those to go in. But they look alright. I'll wire everything. I'm going to build a floor and then drill some holes to run the lines out of. But I wanted to show you guys when I took the batteries out, I wanted to show you guys how high the car was actually lifted. It's pretty high up in the air. That's just from taking the batteries out. No, I'm clearly joking. I got it jacked up, jack stands and jacks, just because I don't trust anything ever. So 2 jack stands, 2 jacks to hold up the one side. Take the tires off. I'm probably gonna have to wait till tomorrow to get some other things to do this. I'm gonna need a spring compressor for the front strut assembly to get that spring off, but I'll probably start to run the lines and do the wiring and everything inside the trunk. I'll get as much as I can done today or tonight, and then try to get everything done tomorrow. I want to get this done in 2 days by myself, but I don't know if that's going to happen because I've never done this before, so I'll keep you posted. I get the floor cut. It's just a quick piece that I cut, and got the valves mounted, the valve assembly, with the pieces that are supplied for the valves. They're like little brackets with 2 holes. That piece you can see I'm using both the screw holes. The other ones I'm only using one. But it's in there pretty good, so not really too worried about it. I kind of kicked it up around this little hump here, cut the wood around that hump to get out of the way, to leave enough room for a battery, a 12-volt battery I'm going to put there. For the tank and the compressors are going to go here, and the battery. So now I'm going to start to plumb the lines and do the wiring. I'm not really sure what area I'm going to go with first, but I'll figure it out. Alright, right now I'm running all the wires for the valves to where the switch box is going to be. So here's all the wires, and I did run these all the way up to my center console. So they come back through here, down under the carpet, and they come out of my center console there. And I left enough to be able to use. But I did run everything with a B-pillar wall. So for everyone that's saying, oh, I don't want to run my power cable underneath my carpet because it's too hard, it won't fit. I ran that under my carpet through the center console with a B-pillar wall. So next time, run your stuff under the carpet. Alright, I got the tank plumbed now. Basically that's where the compressor is going to go in. There's a pressure switch on the back, which is going to turn the compressors on and off, judging by how much pressure is actually in the tank. And that is a different pressure sending unit for my air gauge, with Dakota digital gauges, just a round gauge. So same thing there, compressor is going to go in, and then the top ones are going to be the air lines out to the valves. There's a lot of different ways to do this, judging by how many different pieces you have to make your valves however you want to make them, which is kind of nice. But that's how that looks. It's all bolted down now, bolted down to this wood. The whole piece is removable. But with all the stuff I'm going to have in here, it's going to be kind of tough to get at, which might suck, but what can you do? Alright, I got a lot of the wiring done now. This relay, when it gets switched on, runs the compressors. The lead that's coming off of there is actually a small wire coming out of the small red one coming out of the fuse box. I just used to add a circuit from a switch source, and that one goes over to the pressure switch over here. So when it's reading low pressure, it's going to turn the compressors on, which that runs over to here, and that's what actually triggers the relay. So that's how that all works. I did test run it. I can show you what it looks like. Alright, I'll switch the car on now, so you can see how they work. As soon as I switch the car on, the compressors are going to turn on because there's no pressure in the tank. The pressure switch is telling them to turn on right away. So you can see how I just covered up the whole stair, and then I was taking my hands off and you could hear the air coming out. But those are going to be run to this valve here. One on that side, one on that side, and that's going to supply the valves. So everything from this point took about 5 hours. A little more, maybe 6. But from this point, I'm going to wire up all the valves. So there's all my wires that are going to control all the valves. And then once I know all the valves and everything's working, then I'll start to run the lines and then do all the mechanical stuff with the bags.